everybody. Merry Christmas and welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are here to talk about non-Hallmark Christmas movies. This is our last weekend of non-Hallmark Christmas movies for 2024. And we've got some interesting ones to got quite a variety in that we're going to be covering in this weekend's movies. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Terry's here.
Hello.
And Michelle's here.
Hi.
And I hope you're doing well. Did you both have nice Christmases?
Yeah, it was nice. It was I just spent all day cooking. I say it every year I'm going to prep so that I don't spend the whole day in the kitchen, and it just never happens.
What's your big Christmas meal that you make?
We're not big turkey fans. I think for years we just kind of forced. We tried to make it like a thing. Like it was always the least amount of piece of food on our plate was always like maybe a slice of turkey. So it was just so much effort for something that we're not that keen on. So yeah, we just normally do like a roast dinner, like a roast chicken dinner. And I think the night before we'd had like a kind of like a braised kind of beef dinner. But yeah, it's just pretty, just basically like a Sunday roast that we had.
Yeah.
We just add on the little like Christmas things of like pigs in blankets and things like that.
No, that sounds amazing.
We usually have this German meal. It's our tradition for Christmas Eve. But my mom has a lot of food restrictions now. For a long time she's been gluten-free, dairy-free, but now she can't have eggs. She can't have the list is very it's very, very long. And so she actually made this salmon Wellington with gluten-free puff pastry. It's like I can't believe that's a thing. I can't believe that they can make puff pastry. Yeah, it was pretty good. It really was. So it was a different meal this year for us, but it was still tasty. And so what about you, Terry? Do you have any?
We are very uneventful. We did nothing, and we ate ham, so it was good. It was good. Yeah. I mean, I was sick, but it was all good.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, I'm glad that you weren't too sick, because that's the worst when you're feeling miserable.
No, I was I made it through Christmas. I was worse a few days before, but it's starting to become a habit here, Rachel. Every year I'm getting sick to the holidays.
Yeah. I tend to get sick right after because my body just gets on burnout, and I think it's weak and ready to.
Yeah. And let me tell you what you shouldn't do when you're sick. You shouldn't be binge watching Christmas movies, because I was like, I got to watch these movies, and I was like, I'm dead inside.
If you're especially harsh, we know why.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, I might be especially harsh with the ones I talked about today, and I'm sorry, but I was ill, but these broke me. Especially one movie broke me. I was done.
Yeah, it's an interesting group. It really is.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Let's dive in. Let's talk about it. And Michelle, why don't you have some that you watched that we didn't see? So what's the first one that you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's do Bad Tidings. So this was a Sky original. And the description is very, very long. So bear with me. So, grumpy home security expert Neil and his neighbour Scott are feuding, possibly because Scott insists on keeping his Christmas lights illuminated all year, mixing up their bins and generally criticising Neil's project car and generally winding him up. When a local crime family, the Brennans, decide to rob every house on the street in a single night, the pair must put their differences aside, defend their street and save Christmas. They've got no lights, no cameras, no alarms. One of them is blind, which might just be to their advantage. So this stars two British comedians, Lee Mack and Chris McCausland. I'm not familiar with the director or writers. I think Lee Mack is involved in the writing. So they're both stand-up comedians. They're very popular in the UK on panel shows. Like Chris McCaughlin's just having like an amazing year. He was on Strictly Come Dancing, which is the show that Dancing with the Stars was based on. And he was the first ever blind contestant. And I think that really like set up like the Christmas season in the UK. Like watching his journey on that show was remarkable. Like the way that his professional partner Diane Buswell had to teach him with like no visual aids whatsoever. Like he had no concept of what any of the dances were. And it was just like a remarkable thing to watch. And over the years, I think the best dancer has always won. Whereas I think this year it more became about the spirit of the show and somebody just like Chris able to watching him like
how do you teach someone how to dance
it
without
was crazy. It was crazy to watch him improve every year and be taught without any sort of visual aid. So yeah, I think that sort of put me into like a I don't know, sort of high, and he was so funny on the show as well.
Is it
so
it's a comedy movie, Bad Tidings?
Yeah, Bad Tidings. So I think just the high of watching him on Strictly going into this movie, I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I just didn't laugh once, and that's so disappointing when you have two stand-up comedians. Like the expectations are that there's not all humor's for everybody, obviously, but that there wasn't just one laugh out loud moment in the whole thing for me. It just felt a little clunky. The acting was a little bit stiff at times. I think Lee Mack's character in particular, like his wife like leaves at one point, because one of the like main plot points in the show and the movie is that he sort of blows the power in the whole street, causing these criminals to come and rob them. But he does that just through like his vendetta against his neighbor for no apparent reason, and his wife sort of eventually just kind of leaves him to his own devices, and he's just very unlikable. And I just couldn't get on side with his character. But yeah, I think that the biggest disappointment was just the humor just wasn't there. It's sort of like this adult Home Alone. It's sort of set up like that, where they were setting up traps, and it became very Home Alone at the end. But yeah, just not funny, unfortunately, for a comedy movie.
That's too bad. Bad. You always like to. I mean, there's nothing worse than watching a bad comedy failing to make you laugh.
Yeah, and it's not like it was like bad. Like if it was like, like awful to watch, it's just it didn't make me laugh. That's sort of the main thing that you're looking for. But yeah, it wasn't like outright bad or terrible. But yeah, the script just wasn't there.
Well, we have two movies from Lifetime that we're going to cover on this episode. We have A Carpenter Christmas Romance. And this one got quite a bit of publicity because it was like, this is going to be super steamy. Nope. And it was pretty steamy. I give them credit. I mean, it was pretty. I think it was pretty steamy. Whether it was successful, I just felt like my problem with the movie is that I just felt like it took itself way too seriously. The movie was just not fun.
Everything in this movie took itself way too seriously. Yeah. The acting, the way this movie was directed and photographed, the music, the story, everything was deathly dull and serious.
Yep, it makes it a slog to get through it. It's like
It's not
enough just to have a few steamy scenes.
I didn't even think, again, I wouldn't have liked this movie if I was completely fine, but I didn't even think it was that steamy, Well, I was like...
There's not that many scenes,
no.
But I do think that the ones they had were pretty hot. But because I was just so uninvested, like it doesn't matter if you have steamy scenes if I'm not invested in the couple or the story. Right. Like I can, like if I just want steamy scenes, there's other ways
there's other stuff to do.
I need to have some investment, and it was just a downer. It was like
such a downer.
Like, and this was written by wrong with this town, and there was this electricity. This
ended up being
that people died, and then he took all the responsibility, so he has all this guilt. And
it ended up being a Save the Town movie, Rachel. Somehow that was thrown in there too.
It was a Save the Town movie, but it was also a everybody hates our lead guy for why? Why does they like?
Well, no, everybody loved him. Nobody.
I mean, by the end they did, but like at least he thinks that everybody hates him.
Right? He's like because he blames himself for the fire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what got me? I mean, I was like, Sarah Drew wrote this movie, and she's been writing a couple of Lifetime movies, Christmas movies. I think she wrote last year's Steamy movie too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she's on trend, right? But I think that I don't know what the good point of this movie was to bore you to death. But I also hated the plotline because she's a novelist. She's a successful novelist, and she's the last book of her sci-fi series, her fantasy series is ending, and it gets leaked, and fans hate that she's killing off certain characters and just the way. Yeah. So she's forced to, and they're making a big stink about it, and she's forced to change the ending, but. The love of a good man will make her change to a happier ending, Rachel. That was the whole point of this. But I didn't also like that point of view where, like, why should she change anything? Fan outcry should not dictate a creator's decision on how to tell a story.
In the eyes of the movie, that she was become cynical about love, and that had infected her characters.
But I know, but I just thought that was so dumb because... we can complain about it all we want, and we do, or we love it all we want, and some people take it too far. But at the end of the day, we can't expect like our own fan fiction of things to end from a creative point of view.
I think they could have done it where her like falling in love made her want to change.
Naturally, made her want to do it herself. Yeah,
but like. Yeah, there's a bit of her feeling like she's sort of bullied into it. And
she is.
It just
like
wasn't that interesting. Yeah. It wasn't that. It wasn't an
interesting plot line.
Like if they'd done it in kind of a fun way, and it'd been but it was just
another serious thing. Like, and I was like, it was just being bullied by fans. And it wasn't even a commentary about that either. About like maybe fans taking it a little too serious, but I felt like she had to. She was forced to do it. And I said, that's not really how it works. I mean, we can like I said, complain and love it, but it's still the person who's creating it, their point of view and how they want to tell the storyline. And just because we love something doesn't mean we, deserve whatever ending we want, if that makes any sense. Right? I mean,
Lifetime version of Misery.
Right. If only. If only. But it
just wasn't fun. That's the problem with it. Like it had pieces that like I think could have been interesting. I appreciate when you get like some different tone, a different feel, and when they try things, but it just didn't work out. And I like Jake Helgren, the director. He's good. He's done our patron watch along before. He's a super nice guy. But this one just didn't.
Serious.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. It was like we are telling an important story here, and I'm like, no, you are not.
It is trying too hard to.
Yeah, no levity either in it. Like there wasn't anything man, it was like a bummer. This town burned
it
down.
was a
I got a
bummer. It
dead
really was.
husband. Like I got a dead husband. I feel guilty. Fans hate me because I'm killing somebody off. I mean, oh boy, man. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't need to watch this on Christmas. Like,
Yeah. I said, while this does have some steamy scenes, it takes itself far too seriously and ends up being a slog to get through. It was just no fun.
I agree. I do. It's a shame too because I don't know. It just, ugh, it was a bore. It was slow.
Yeah. You didn't miss much there, Michelle.
No, guys, I'm sorry. I mean, Lifetime Boy. I've seen every Lifetime movie this year, and it's just like not great.
Like the best thing that they had for Lifetime was the fan fiction movie.
Yeah, I think so. That is the best out of their slate.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It is. I'm like, I'm shocked, and I was like, I can't believe it. I would have thought that would have been their worst, but no.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do next year, if they'll even like try.
Yeah.
Just more acquisitions, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
A lot of these were acquisitions this year, so.
Yeah. And it will be interesting to see if, I mean, at this point they're doing so well in their reality, programming and their, things like Marriage at First Sight and stuff like it. You wonder like how, and they're ripped from the headlines. You just wonder if they will they just abandon Christmas movie scene altogether.
Yeah, is what they should be doing is Christmas thrillers. Like, be a little different. Because my brother was making fun of me over Christmas going through my DVR with all these Lifetime thrillers that I have to watch and their titles.
Yeah.
And that's what Lifetime should have done. They should have done a couple of Christmas thrillers. Because the other Hallmark, the other Lifetime movie we're going to talk about, Rachel, had it been a thriller, Chef's Kiss. But like that's what they should be doing. They should be doing like these bonkers thriller movies that like we love
because
to watch.
I liked those on Ion, those that they aired on Up. I thought they were fun, like campy. They had the right amount of camp for
exactly.
So
just
if
go.
Lifetime could kind of pick up that, there could be something there.
Lifetime is the queen of women in peril movies. They can do this, and I think it would be interesting and different. It would give a different, it's just something different to watch during the holidays. They could have a mixture of both. Lifetime, if you're listening to me, I love your Amish thrillers. Set one up in Christmas, Home Invasion, whatever. Give me an Amish thriller.
Or even, I like the idea of bringing a little bit more steam into these, because the Hallmark is so chaste.
Yes.
But like the two that they've had haven't been like fun, sexy. Like they've been
they need no, I agree.
Soap opera and family drama and because that was the last year was all about the cowboy drama and her brothers and all this stuff. And so if it were me, I would make it like fun, sexy.
Because Lifetime can do that. Lifetime has done fun, sexy before.
Yeah, like something along the lines, something like Hot Frosty was like a little bit fun, sexy.
Yeah,
just a little bit. But or even the Married Gentleman. So they had on Netflix just a little bit more, fun, sexy this season. So something like that would be better than what they've done the last two times. So anyway,
agree.
So Michelle, you had another one that you watched that we didn't. Another one that you watched that we didn't see.
So Carry On Netflix.
Yes.
So that was the new Taron Egerton film. I think it's on track to be like one of the biggest Netflix films of the year.
I know, amazing. Really. I know, it's amazing. It was like it's the most watched movie so far this year.
Would you say that this is a movie that's set at Christmas or a Christmas movie?
A movie that's set at Christmas. Okay, it's very like Shane Black. Sort of Christmas movie. It's not up there with the likes of Die Hard. Obviously, it's not trying to be. It is just really a really fun action film. It's really quick paced. There's a lot of really great set pieces. There's like one like high speed chase, and the camera is like a fight in a car, and the camera is like it's like shot as all one take. Is really, really good, and there's a lot going on in this movie, but it's so high paced. The only thing that didn't work for me is a little bit was Jason Bateman. I just see him as like I just can't really see him as like a bad guy for some reason. I just always sort of see him
Have you ever
as
seen The Gift with him and Joel Edgerton?
I haven't, no.
It was a terrifying movie. It just like it was one of those movies. It doesn't have like blood or guts or anything, but just the premise was really creepy to me. But he's a bad guy in that one.
Yeah, and I didn't watch Ozark either, so I've always just kind of seen him in like in comedy stuff, and to me he's just like Nick Wilde from Zootopia.
Right.
Like his voice is just so distinctively that for me. But yeah, this is really fun. I can sort of see it becoming there being a sequel. They do sort of set that up a little bit in the end because Taron Egerton's character is sort of like he takes the TSA job just to be near his girlfriend. He wants to be a policeman, but he can't sort of pass the polygraph. So that's he's sort of just been stuck in this dead end job for like years at this point. But they do sort of set it up that his actions in this film sort of push his career forward. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the success of it, that they'll do more.
Totally.
But yeah, it's a really fun movie.
Cool. I've heard good things from a bunch of people, so that's good. I have not checked it out yet.
I read somewhere that somebody said this was Die Hard, but in an airport.
Yeah.
Okay, but like Die Hard that was the whole second movie.
That was the whole point. Yeah, it was the whole second.
Okay. And I was like, are they referring to Die Hard 1 or Die Hard 2? I didn't know.
Well, in there a movie with Kurt Russell where it's the way they said it was Die Hard on plane, where he's saving the people from the plane. I forget what it was called, but we'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the new Gift Wrapped Romance Sweet Clean series, available now wherever you purchase books. Looking for some cheerful escapism this holiday season? Snuggle up with a cup of hot cocoa and lose yourself in 5 festive tales of romance with the new book series, Gift Wrapped Romance. These 5 funny and feel-good books have all the jolly hallmarks of perfect holiday reading: twinkling lights, mistletoe kisses, and plenty of Christmas cheer. Swoon over your new book boyfriends as they find love in the most magical season of all. Find the books wherever you do your book shopping this holiday season, or use the affiliate link in the description below. But very good. Well, let's talk about the second Lifetime movie, Terry. So this is Engaged by Christmas, and this stars Brittany Bristow and Marcus Rosner, and they're both wonderful people. I really love them both. But basically, it's about this woman who gets dumped, and she's a party planner, and she particularly plans proposals. But she's starting this new business, and it was so funny how they acted like her launching this blog was like gonna change everything. You know, I'm like, what is this, 2004?
I'm gonna write a blog about Christmas activities that couples can do, and that's gonna make me want to hire you to plan events. Excuse me,
you're rich. And like, how dare anything interrupt with her blog launch? They actually used the word the blog launch. I'm like,
yes, this was just like. And how are you advertising this blog? Do people even know it exists? I don't.
Yeah. And so she has this big plan of she's going to plan these like dates for people, and she's going to be amazing. And he is writing this column, Dear Adora, where he gives advice, pretending to be this woman. And I thought that they were gonna like keep the ruse of him just working for Adora, and that he wasn't Adora longer than they did. She finds out about that pretty quick. Yeah. But then she uses that information to basically manipulate and blackmail him. Of course, the story that if you don't do what I want, then I'm going to tell everybody that you're Adora.
Yes, because he's also a couples therapist.
Yeah.
So, and he's not telling anybody he's writing for his dead aunt's column. Rachel, continue. I'm sorry.
No, She was so crazy
Unhinged.
in this movie. Like
Unhinged.
the way that she expected to like control everyone. And I mean, no wonder she got dumped at the beginning. Like, why would anyone want to be with her? She was insane.
Unhinged.
And the way that
This
the movie
unhinged.
acted like she was normal, like this was normal behavior, and you're just like, no, this is not normal behavior. Like, it was crazy.
Now, Rachel, picture this as a Lifetime thriller where, she's like, you don't do it my way, I'm gonna slice and dice you or whatever. Like this was the perfect premise to make this into a Lifetime thriller with a bad ending, because a lot of Lifetime thrillers don't know how to end their movies. And it would have been so much fun. But instead, we're watching this unhinged woman learn that it's okay to be single at Christmas.
Yeah, there was just something that was always off about her. Like,
oh my
not
God.
only just the blackmailing and the lying and everything, but like there was just, they talk about on How I Met Your Mother, Barney talks about the crazy eyes. The certain women have the crazy eyes. She had the crazy eyes throughout.
Especially what do you mean we're not getting engaged when her boyfriend has to explain why he's dumping her. And Brittany Bristow knew what she was doing because her eyes were bugging out. So I don't know what movie she was doing because it wasn't the movie that they were filming. But
yeah, I said her character in this is insane. She always seemed just on the edge of killing everyone.
Exactly, like it would have been so much
normal.
You know what this would have been like? It was kind of. Has anybody ever seen Serial Mom with Kathleen Turner?
Yeah.
Okay. She kind of had that vibe, where I'm all put together, but she's really just not well, like when she beats that lady up, or like you can't wear white after Labor Day. That's what this movie should have been like, and it would have been amazing. Instead, it's just like we're gonna fall in love in 3 days doing Christmas activities, and I'm gonna learn that it's okay being alone for the holidays and not having a boyfriend.
She's basically gonna kind of like beat him into submission by the end. Like he has no choice.
He has no choice because she's blackmailing him, and he's befuddled, and then she's trying to help her out, going, "It's okay for you to like go through problems."
Yeah,
and
the problem
like,
is like we're making it sound more entertaining than it actually was.
Yes,
because
that is
like
true.
It was bizarre. But once you get past like this very strange behavior and the way she's acting, it actually got pretty boring.
Oh yeah. Because, once it gets to them like fake, it basically at the end of the day it's like fake dating, almost like a fake dating movie.
Yeah.
And that's when it got boring. Her being unhinged. They should have just kept that up a little bit more. But yeah.
Yeah. I kept fighting, nodding off, which is never good. But it was truly bizarre, and
it was what a way to end your season, Lifetime. But okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Better than I will take this one over the Carpenter one, because at least this one at least had Brittany Bristow, Brittany be bug-eyed, bonkers, because she was unhinged, and I couldn't get over like. Rachel, I was like, this isn't the real world. I was like, how many days have passed by where she's in the same skirt? Because they normally don't do that for like movies. You get a new outfit for each day. It's not like real life where you can repeat wear. And I'm like, wait, how many days have gone by in this movie? I lost count.
Yeah, I guess I agree. I would rather watch it than Carpenter Christmas again, because at least it was unhinged.
Yeah, there's that element of it. I would actually tell people to watch this one just because I like both these actors a lot, but this one is weird.
Yeah, I like them both, but they've also had a pretty rough couple of years.
They've had, especially in their holiday movies.
Yeah. So I would approach with caution when watching either of their movies going forward. But Michelle, you got to see the Doctor Who special.
Yes, I haven't watched this one yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, if you guys watched the new Ncuti Gatwa season, or
no, I'm so far behind on Doctor Who. I watched the miniseries with David Tennant when he was he's kind of introduced in that, but I have not caught up.
I watched the Jodie Whittaker, but I didn't watch this most recent season.
Yeah.
But Nicole Coughlin's in it?
Yeah, she's the sort of main, well, I guess like temporary companion in this episode. But yeah, this is a really, really. I think Doctor Who fans can be a little bit difficult, and I say that
For
as
real.
like a few of them. Yeah, it's it's a show that I think for me I've been able to dip in and out of over the years. For me, like I think Tennant is sort of like the iconic Doctor, but for me, like my personal favorite was always Matt Smith. I didn't like Peter Capaldi. I love Jodie Whittaker, but I just felt like she got terrible writing. Like she got terrible writing towards the end of her like run on the show.
I just clasped my chest over. I didn't like David Capaldi as an actor.
Yeah, yeah. I never.
No, I get it. I get it.
I think there's just like a specific type of way that I like the Doctor being played. And for me, that didn't work. Maybe like if I rewatch it and I'm not as like, I don't know, not don't think invested is the right word, but if I'm not so like caught up on it, maybe
yeah.
I'm
well, I mean, those
it.
Capaldi years, the writing wasn't great either for those years.
Because they were obsessed with Clara. I'm gonna say it. Clara sucked.
Yeah,
there I said
she was around way too long.
She was around too long.
Yeah, and I feel like they've never been able to like figure the companion length out. I feel like there's ones that are just
too short, too
long, too short. And I think the issue with this most recent season is that the companion was around for such a short amount of time. Like she's gone by the end of the sort of last episode of this first. I mean, it's sort of weird the way they're doing it now as well. It's this sort of by regeneration thing where
that is weird. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know.
So the way it works is like the Tennant Doctor and the Shutigatwa Doctor are split, so they both exist at the same time. They have their own TARDISes, they have their own, and so in a way it sort of gives the Shutigatwa like Doctor a little bit more freedom and a little bit more joy,
less baggage because he's
less baggage. And I really find that refreshing. In this Christmas episode, it takes place in a time hotel, so each room is a different time and place. And he comes across Nicola Coughlin's character, Joy, and sort of leads her through all these different times and spaces as she carries something called the Starseed. And obviously we've got God, what's his name? The writer back, our main guy, Russell T.
Davies.
Russell T. Davies.
Davies.
So there's some, there's some politics in there. There's some like COVID stuff, a lot of baggage from the politics in the UK during COVID. There's things that are just going to, when you watch a Russell T. Davies show, regardless if it's Doctor Who or not, you're going to get that. So I think some fans found that a little bit like, it's a little bit preachy, but it's, it's just what you expect. Yeah. And I think the episode itself was a little bit all over the place. I don't think it was very consistent because we have lost our companion. It was revealed sort of halfway through the most recent season that the companion that we had was going to be just a one-season companion.
That was so weird.
It was so weird, and I found the conclusion of our storyline to be so disappointing.
Did people just not like her, and so then they changed?
No, I think they tried to do something different with her, and have it not be. They tried to have it just be a very simple. They had this big mystery. The sort of reveal of that mystery was very simple and
they just overly complicated it. I mean, Steve, that's all coming from the Stephen Moffat legacy, but with the Jodie Whittaker, like the reason why I kind of stopped is because the whole timeless child thing and everything was just like, this is so stupid. Gosh.
Yeah, I cannot. Yeah.
I hate it.
But I thought she was coming back, that he was going to actually have 2 companions. I haven't watched it, but I've been keeping up from the side. Like, I have to binge watch all these.
Yeah, she is in this episode. It's not so much that she, you know, I think a lot of companions, you know, they want to stick around for a long time, or I think with her it was just, there was just this like mystery about who she was. The reveal of who she was so basic and straightforward.
That's what, yeah, I
think everybody was expecting this big like mystery to like unravel, and it lead into this big like science sci-fi sort of, but it was very grounded, the reality of her situation. And so she just goes on and lives her life. She doesn't need the doctor, she doesn't need those adventures. Now that she has the answers that she was looking for. Yeah, so
that girl boss.
So was Nicola good?
Nicola's good. She was she had that sort of Nicola energy. And yeah, she's listed for 2 episodes. So I don't know if she's going to be coming back in a later episode. I don't want to spoil it, but it'll be interesting to see how she comes back, given how this episode ended. The ending of the episode is a little bit schmaltzy, but that's my Doctor Who. I love those like episodes where it goes a little bit too like sentimental. I think for a lot of like classic Who fans, you know, I've a lot of friends that, you know, grew up watching it back like way before the Tennant years. But yeah, I love those. I love those episodes that get really schmaltzy.
Especially for the Christmas episode. I mean, the one where
Christmas episode,
the one where he meets Dickens, that one's super memorable and fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun. Like, to me, when I think of like, I like the holiday specials for Doctor Who have mostly been good. Like, they've been fun and memorable. Like, I'm still upset that like the holiday specials were how David Tennant bowed out the first time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, don't do this to me at Christmas, but you know. But
well,
this sounds fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's one of the best. I'd say it's sort of mid to lower in terms of how you were going to rank the Christmas episodes. You know, it's the stakes aren't very high.
Better than that superhero one. I didn't like that one.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I think it was fine. I think a lot of Doctor Who fans just expect the episodes to be perfect every time.
It's hard. And it's hard to live up to that expectation.
Yeah.
But did this make you excited for the new season though, coming up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it made me excited for the new season. I think Ncuti's energy is still the most compelling thing about the show.
Yeah, he does have that manic energy I like.
That manic energy, yeah. So I think I'm still excited about him as the Doctor, and I think that's the main thing, and I'm excited for him going forward and finding a new companion. I think they released pictures already of like
they
who that's going to be, but yeah, I'm excited for the future episodes.
Yeah, I just hope he sticks around more than just the 3 seasons or 3 years, because I feel like we're getting short-tailed with the time with our doctors. They keep getting like shorter and shorter times.
It feels does feel a little bit different now that they have partnered with Disney. It does feel different. You can't deny it. I think that the show is just different when it was on the BBC.
More family
friendly. You know, it's like the budget is obviously better, but I think there was also just like a nice thing about the budget being kind of terrible. That was sort of like part of the show.
I do miss that kind of like, and that's what I loved about Doctor Who. Like, they made it work, you know?
I can see that. Yeah. Well, speaking of low budget, you, Terry, you watched our North by North Pole dialed mystery. Right. I didn't get to it. What did you think?
First of all, I did not know this was a sequel. That there is
you hadn't seen the original?
No, and I was like, I somehow missed this one last year on TV, and then I was nervous going into it, but it's pretty much standalone. So I was like, okay, good. So I don't have to watch I'm not watching the Dallas Mystery now. I'm not going back. It's only Santa. Like, I'm not going back, Rachel. I'm not
Well,
going
I
back.
mean, the original had like a camp to it that was a little bit fun. Was there any of
No,
that energy in this at all, or no?
no,
No.
no. I don't know what was going on here. I don't know what was going on. There's a mystery. I don't know how to explain this, Rachel. I don't. Where do I begin? So she is in, so Santa, I guess, picks from a globe this town that needs help. I don't know what Santa was doing here because he didn't help nobody. I'm just gonna say it. He didn't help nobody. But okay, she's like it's a designer, interior designer. She's help or an organizer or an event planner. I don't know what she does. She's helping plan this Christmas fair or festival, and there's an architect. I hated this guy. I hated him, and I'm like, I'm sorry, he's the main love interest. I think not. I mean, he's had such a cockiness to him, like an ego, and he's supposed to mellow off, but I was like, he's dead to me through this whole entire storyline. But he's an architect that's helping her organize it, and he has to because he works for his dad, and his dad is like, we're gonna give money to charity to fix this place up for this town. He's supposed to help refurbish this old building and bring some life back to the town, but somebody is trying to sabotage this Christmas festival. And so the whole mystery is they're working together to figure out who it is. Now, they type out a 2 sentence letter saying, if you don't stop this festival, bad things are going to happen. And I'm like, okay, how threatening is that? Oh, he breaks some Christmas ornaments. Ooh, they steal some Christmas ornaments. And I'm like, where's the danger? Rachel, Santa is in trouble because he cut the bottom piece of the leg off of the of Santa's chair, so when he takes pictures with the kids, he could have fallen over an inch. It's gonna cancel this whole entire festival. But this movie forgets it's a mystery because then we have to do the B plot and the C plot with this girl's mom working with another rival baker to win a baking competition that then they forget about because he's in love with her. And then their co-workers, the C level, also fall in love. And then, there's so much danger. There is no danger. They get a 2-page letter. It's like, it's almost like this is going to ruin the town. And he's just cutting legs off of chairs and stealing Christmas ornaments. What is going on here?
Yeah, he's not a viable threat.
Not a viable threat at all. And these people, and then the father comes in, he goes, there's too much going on. We have to cancel the project. And like, and then there's a heavy reporter, like they tried to sabotage Santa and hurt him. I was like, you know what was going to happen? He was going to sit on that chair and fall forward a little bit. Like he wasn't going to get hurt. And then Santa randomly pops up and he goes, oh, maybe you and Dalton should decorate a tree together. I was like, Santa, what are you doing here? How are you helping any of this? This movie forgot, it's a party planning movie essentially, but it forgot that it had a mystery. And they're like so serious about this guy stealing Christmas ornaments and breaking them. And I'm like, how is this gonna like end the festival?
Yeah.
He didn't set fire to nothing. He cut a little leg off of a chair, and it's like, oh no, Santa's in danger.
That's funny. Oh man, too bad.
No chemistry either. Like and very questionable acting. I'm sorry. The acting was okay. The other movie has questionable acting, but like this movie is like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know.
Now, did you see the other Up TV movie?
Oh, Rachel, did I see that other Up TV movie?
Country Christmas
broke me. This is the movie that broke me. I watched it very early this morning, Rachel, and I was like, I can't go on. Yeah, I got so many Christmas movies to still catch up on.
You have done your duty.
I cannot go on anymore, Rachel. This movie broke me. This movie was painful to watch. It's that bad.
That's surprising because I like both the leads.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm jumping into it. I don't know if we were ready, but it was
no. I mean, I like Alexandra and Jonathan. They've both been on the podcast.
Terrible.
They've had decent chemistry before, but
I don't know what movie they were in, but I mean, it's like Maybe it was just me, guys. Maybe it was me. But
No,
this
I
gets
mean,
half
I
a
believe
star.
you.
This gets half a star for me. The background
Yeah.
music was louder than the dialogue.
Oh,
And
I hate
I was
that.
like, I cannot take that. But this woman, she writes songs with this guy. She sings some jingles, she has a lot of talent, but she didn't want to be famous. And he is her best friend and business partner and all this other stuff. And he's never told her that she has had opportunities for like, to be signed on record. And he doesn't want to sell his songs because, he wants to keep the rights to make money. And I get it, right? I get it because you lose once you sign something
Yeah.
away, you can't profit from it and you can't control it. But then there's other evil music executive guy trying to woo this lady. Both these men are manipulating. And it starts off with like, you have a great voice. Is she yours? And then he comes out and he goes,
Oh,
no,
man.
she's mine. They literally put that in the script. No, like, no, she's mine. The funniest thing in this movie is that he comes out and he's like, he's helping your mom. He's frosting your mom's cookies. And that was the most entertaining line. And it's meant to be taken like, because she's like, what? And she goes, oh, he really is just frosting cookies, But that was the funniest thing in this movie. And everything else, I was like, put down that guitar. She's clearly lip singing in this movie.
Yeah.
I was broken. By the end of this, I was like,
took you to a dark place.
it took me to a dark place, and I don't know if this movie merits that, but it did that to me.
Oh,
and
man.
maybe it's because I
That's
watched
too
both
bad.
these
I'm
movies
glad I
back to
skipped
back.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's catching up on if you're washing dishes, go ahead. You got to vacuum, you got to clean your house, doing laundry. Have it on as the
Oh,
background.
man.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
The last one that we're going to talk about is much higher quality. We're talking about the Night Before Christmas in Wonderland. You had already reported on this, Terry, a couple weeks ago, but I got the chance. Michelle got, I think, the chance to watch it, and this is on Hulu. It's an animated film. It is a feature. Where Santa gets the letter sent that had been sent by the Queen of Hearts when she was a little girl, asking for help, and so he goes into Wonderland, and of course the Queen is now grown up and she's all bitter and everything, and so he starts on an adventure, and it really was delightful. I loved the animation, I loved the songs, the voice acting was great. And it was just fresh. It was new. It was. I really enjoyed the combo of Santa and Wonderland. It was fun.
I knew you would like this one, Rachel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. What do you think of it, Michelle?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I've never watched this type of animation before. But when I looked at the director, it was the guy that did The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse from a few years ago. So
good.
Yeah, which was really, really good. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I watched it just this morning, and I loved it. I thought the songs were so good. I was not prepared for the Gerard Butler singing. I never thought I would have to suffer through that again. But the songs were actually
guys. I don't know why people were suffering through it. I enjoyed Phantom of the Opera. Okay,
I did enjoy Phantom. That's fair.
Yeah, okay. So
I liked the movie, but I don't think he's a good singer.
No, I don't care. But there's a charm to his performance, his voice performance in Sandy. And this movie's too adorable not to watch, guys. Please watch it.
I'm not sure why he keeps coming up high on the list for singing roles. I think
I don't care because he looks good while doing it. There, I'm gonna say it. I'll be thirsty. He looks good. He still looks good doing it. There, I said it. Even in animated form, Rachel.
He's singing here, but I really did like the style of the animation. It has almost a cartoon saloon feel. They did the Irish trilogy of Song of the Sea and Secret of the Kells and Wolf Walkers, and this kind of has that same, I think, style, but it's not from them. It's some different, but it's just inventive. You're always looking to see what is going to come up next.
And I loved it.
Yeah, and the songs are charming. It's a fun watch. It's a fun watch.
It's also available on Prime Video for anybody that doesn't have Hulu.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because that's how I watched it. So, like, there's ways to get it, but if you're going to watch it, like, my favorite part was the sick reindeer riding the subway and taking the bus.
Yeah.
Like, I found that every time they would throw away to him, like, sneezing on a bus or on a plane, I found that so hysterical. Because these reindeer are Santa's like parents kind of scolding him and like, we don't have time for this. And it's adorable. This is like the most adorable thing I watched all Christmas.
Yeah, it really was. I agree.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Cast is totally stacked as well.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there we go. That is the non-Hallmark for this week. Let us know what you think. If you got to see any of these, where are you at on? We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you got taken to a dark place, we're here for you.
Sorry,
we're here for you.
Once we get those, that movie was good. I don't know what she's talking about. I mean,
hey, we like all opinions. So definitely let us know. And Terry, where can people find you?
I'm on where am I? Oh, on Twitter at Flurry Evan.
Yeah, and Michelle.
On Twitter, Michelle R. Benson.
And you can find me at all over social media at Rachel's Reviews and on iTunes and YouTube and Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Non-Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. We have our Patreon group and merch store. Take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.